back.
Every time I walk out that door, every time I interact with anybody new, my purpose is to help change.
It's time to celebrate life. If you know that you're in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know you want better for your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you have what it takes to be in charge of your life, it's time to stand up. If you know that you are not just trying to be good for you, but for those around you, it's time to stand up. As a matter of fact, look to the person to your left and tell them you are enough.
I want to help you change, and just like you change, every time I interact with somebody, they help me change. It's no different than if I met an individual and they had 4 quarters and they needed change, or if I had $1 and they had 4 quarters, I need to change. We can swap the money. The value is still the same. They still got $1, I still got $1, but we both exchanged something, and it was a change for both of us. So every time I walk out that door, I inspire to help change lives just as much as lives have changed me.
Y'all been listening to the wrong people, watching the wrong things all your life, and it's time to put to rest all those negative thoughts, because you are enough. It's time to put to rest that self-doubt, because you are enough. It is time to get rid of that negative energy, because you are enough. It is time to stop listening to people that don't have the best interests of you in your life, because you are enough. So let's have a moment of silence. I want everybody to understand that you are the person that's in charge of your life. Everything that you have inside of you to be who you're supposed to be in life. You have a destiny, and that destiny can only be accomplished through you, by you, and only you, with the help of God. When you realize that you are the person you are, because you're not a carbon copy, there's only one you. They try to put you in a box. Society tries to put you in a box, but you can't be in a box. How can you be in a box when there's only one you? But then they tell you, think outside the box. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there is no box.
I want to pass on the things that I have to the generations behind me. By the time it's time for me to get called home and go to the grave, I want to be empty. I believe in bankrupting the cemetery, so I can't take this knowledge with me, because the cemetery is already full of brilliant ideas and unwritten books and innovative ideas. I can't take this with me, so I'm trying to leave it all here as Billy Graham Jr. to the next generation so somebody else can carry it on.
And we're back. Man, oh man, how I've been waiting to talk to y'all. Can you believe we are already at the end of February? When I say 2023 is not playing around, it is already flying. This is literally the last episode for February, going into March next week. Man, when I say we moving, we moving. And it's also a good thing, because without life moving forward, you're going to just stand in the same place. And the individual that I have today, he's all about helping people move forward. And I'm just not talking about walking. I'm just not talking about through life. I'm talking about literally in a car, move forward. This individual, now you've seen him before. If you didn't, make sure you already have liked and subscribed Strategic Dope. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because this individual's actually been here before. You have to go back and watch episode 37. But he dropped knowledge then, and he got some new knowledge to drop today. And not only does he have new knowledge, we get to ask him a few questions, because he's also a new host of his own podcast, The McCrary Experience. So without further ado, I have to bring to you the one, the only, the amazing, the car salesman of your dreams, Mr. Anthony McCrary.
What's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
What's good, guy?
Man, I'm so glad to have you back on here again, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, I got me to thinking so much since the last time we talked, and just the things I've seen you do on your show. But before we get into all that, let's recap.
Okay.
Can you tell the people again that have not met you are the ones that need to be reintroduced to you. Who is Mr. Anthony McCrary?
Very simple. I am a country boy. I am from a little itty bitty town called Madison, Florida. And most people who are in Tallahassee, which is the state capital, 53 miles northwest, still can't tell you where Madison, Florida actually even is. That's right. I'm on the border, 15 minutes from the state line of Georgia, and outside of Valdosta and Quitman, most of those folks can't tell you where Madison, Florida is. So I'm a country boy at heart. I love what I do. I love helping people, and I love inspiring people. And at the end of the day, I just want people to be better. And I'm here to facilitate that any way that I possibly can.
Man, I love it. Now, once again, now we not finna go back into the nitty gritty. Well, I told y'all before, if y'all want to see what Mr. McCrary talked about last time, you need to go back, like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you watch episode 37. And not even that, before we even get going, where can they watch the McCrary Experience at?
Ooh, that's great. So you guys can actually watch the McCrary Experience, me, on my own show, Behind the Experience, the car show. It's same thing, just like you here. It's everywhere, man. And also, of course, I am on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, the McCrary Experience. And I do have my own website, themccurryexperience.com.
Man, now that we got all the pleasantries out the way, let's dive straight in, because I got a bunch of questions.
Okay.
Well, I don't have a bunch of questions. You know how we do it on this show. It just keeps it real. Stuff flows to my head, and I just think of it, and you come back with the honest answers. In the car buying business, not too recently, we had certain people like, Elon Musk. He was one of them, the Bill Gates, the Mark Zuckerbergs, all of those. And they were saying, coming into year 2023, this isn't the time to be making big purchases. Cars being one of those things. Have you seen a decline in car buying experience, or do you see it going up, or would you advise people to buy or not buy, like those high billionaires said to not buy? What would be your advice for them?
So my advice to anyone is don't take advice from people who have not been or are not in your current situation. So first of all, listen to who we're talking about. We're talking about two of the absolute richest people on planet Earth. When was the last time you think they went to McDonald's and ordered a Big Mac? When was the last time you think that they had to worry about paying rent, mortgage, and anything else they got going on? They don't. So what I would tell people right now, have I seen a decline? Somewhat. It is a decline going on. But what I think is happening is that people are now becoming more researched. And not just that, I think that they are now becoming more prepared and more willing to listen to folks like me in the field. So when I say, hey, you're going to need some money down this time, again, my job is to tell you why that is. Do I ultimately see us coming out of this thing? Sure. But for now, I think right now, if you're going to buy something, you better know exactly what it is that you want. You better have all the tools to be able to get it. And you better understand you're probably going to pay a little more for it than you originally wanted or thought. And that's just based upon what's happening with the economy. That's based upon, a couple of months ago, the Fed's raising the rates 3 times. We don't control that.
Nope. So I'm loving that you said do your research, because I recently saw a young lady. She bought a car, an SUV, and then not even 6 months later, she didn't like the color and some of the stuff in the SUV. So she turned the SUV back in, traded in, got another one. But then it rolled into the new year, and the newer model came out, and she wanted that one more than she wanted this one. So she traded it in again. And before time, she realized, like, this is too much car payment for me, because she had a car that was worth about $35,000-$40,000, but because of how she traded it in over and over and over again, she was upside down. And now she had this $35,000 car, and she wanted to go get the next one, but she was upside down because now that car was at $75,000. So when you tell people to do their research, let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the initial research. When should somebody even be thinking about buying a new car? Should they just trade in a car because they want a new car? Should they I know everybody experiences different, but like some people say, I'm gonna ride it till the wheels roll off. when should somebody's research start to even think about buying a new car, especially in these economic times?
Right. So, and that is something that I see on a daily basis. I actually on my show, I talked about this. The normal car cycle for folks who are used to trading in their cars every 2 to 3 years, that cycle is going to get interrupted big time, just because of what has happened with the rates. Because people do that because they know for a fact, one, they've got the credit to do it or the down payment to do it. But they do it because they know the rates are going to be very favorable to them. You know, let's just say pre-COVID, they knew for a fact that they were going to get 0% for, 72 months. So they'll do it. Yeah, what the hell, shoot, I'll trade in my car too. I know I was getting 0% for 72 months or 84. That ain't happening right now.
No.
So when I say do your research, it's the minute that you think, I think I want to get a new car, you need to know right now what your current rate is, and then and what I'm saying, your current rate is what you currently have on your vehicle now.
Okay.
But you also need to know what the actual current rates are going for someone that has your type of credit, because the 750s, 800s, 700 club, 1.9 is not out there for you.
Ooh.
Zero's not out there for you like that, unless you're willing to do real short term, 36 months. And that's still going to end up, with a $800, $900 car payment.
Wow.
So it's doing your research, is understanding that what you got before COVID is not necessarily what you're going to get now. And on top of that, what you may actually have to do is now you may have to bring an investment down payment with you this time around that you probably didn't do or wouldn't do otherwise outside of where we are now.
Now, by you saying that, now we really got to hit we might hurt some feelings here because let's be honest, we all come in with our feelings of what I feel I should get or what I feel I deserve. I make this much, I should be able to drive this, or I make this much, my payment should be this. Let's be logical. Let's give people those starting numbers that you're seeing from your perspective. What is that good interest rate, or what is that average interest rate, and what is that the best down payment or the average down payment that somebody can be looking at, and base that kind of off of credit scores?
Right. Okay. So currently, for the most part, the average, and I'm talking about for your as we call in the industry, well-qualified buyer. So these are your 730, 800 plus, right, people. What I'm seeing is you're still looking at 5.9. You're still looking at 6.9. Now, for the normal people out there, 5.9, 6.9, cool, we're taking that all day. Yes.
Yeah.
For somebody like that, they're like, because you have to understand, they've probably never paid 5.9 or 6.9 on anything ever in their life.
No.
So to them, they're like, what the hell? I'm not doing this, So think about it. So if that's what your 700 and 750 and 800 club is getting, it's only going to get worse from there. So now we're talking folks who are, 670s getting 8 and 9 and 10% rates. We're talking people who are, 620s, 590s. Now we're talking them getting 15 to 18% rates that they're not used to seeing that either.
Wow.
So now this is where down payment is so important, because down payment, not only does it potentially help you, of course, bring the cost of the vehicle down, but it helps you potentially buy the rate that you need to get, or at least get you a lot closer to the rate that you're accustomed to, because now, like I said in one of my previous podcasts, the banks aren't helping you right now. They're just not.
No,
they're not.
And I want people to understand, because when Anthony's talking about the banks aren't helping, I don't know. I can't speak for the ages of everybody. I want everybody to think back for a second. So during 2007, when we had that recession, and that when the housing market crashed, banks that getting the bailouts and all that stuff. Right. So I want everybody to understand, like, over those time periods, the banks had to learn a lesson. But as Anthony was saying, during the recent pandemic, we had that housing market. I don't know if everybody remembers, like right after when we came out, everybody's buying houses. They were paying 30, 50, 100,000 in many cases over the asking price. Housing market skyrocketing. But as things are starting to level back out, these housing prices are dropping. But I want people to remember the key thing. The banks were not helping people then in that housing market. People were paying that 30, 50, $100,000 out of pocket. That's what that down payment that Anthony's talking about. That's why people started migrating from the Californias to Texas, from New York's to Florida's, because they were selling their properties at these higher values and then moving down to a location that the property wasn't as much. So they were able to pay that 30, 50, 100,000 out of pocket as their down payment. Now, I want you to think about this from a car experience, what Anthony's saying. When you got to come in with this bigger down payment to get the car you want, you're already in the car. And if you're trying to trade that car in, that car necessarily isn't going to get you those prices that the housing market is giving you. That's why I want everybody to pay close attention to what Anthony's saying about prices and credit scores. So by knowing this, and I'm asking this question for a reason, and I'll tell you that in a second. By knowing this, for somebody that's getting up right now, finna go do their research, they want to walk into a car dealership, talk to you, Anthony. Realistically, because let's be honest, everybody's not in that 750, 800 club. Realistically, people are in the 600, high fives to mid sixes. Mm-hmm. For somebody coming in and with car prices today, normally averaging around that 45-ish, 50,000, what should they literally expect walking in to be able to purchase a car at what percent, what down payment to get that monthly payment into a reasonable number?
All right. So I think, but beforehand, they need to define for themselves what is reasonable. They need to define what they're willing to live with. They need to define for themselves what they're willing to do without. And those are only questions they can answer. Yep. So what I mean by that is, $45,000 does not buy today what it bought pre-pandemic. Mm-hmm. Pre-pandemic, $45,000. I'm just going to use this as an example. $45,000 before pandemic bought you a platinum fully loaded Pathfinder. Fully loaded platinum. You were driving off the lot, fully loaded. Payments probably about $780. Right? Pandemic happened. A platinum Pathfinder right now. Now it's been redesigned and all this other jazz and whatnot. Great, wonderful, but it's still a platinum Pathfinder is now going to hit you anywhere, because it depends on the dealership, anywhere between 52 to 59. Ew. And think about it. The pandemic wasn't 10 years ago. I'm not talking, 1980. I'm talking literally 3 short years ago, and not even a full 3 short years ago. So, and you got to think, well, at that point, now I'm financing, because plus tax, title, and fees, now I'm financing 60 or close to 60 or over 60. So no, I won't be paying 780. I'm going to be paying 880, 980. Yeah. Because just simple math, $60,000, 72 months, you can just do the 0% on that, and that's still going to get you a nice size payment, and that's before down payment or even trade. And what we're seeing, and why for people are ending up so tanked or upside down, is that the used car market, the book values on them have dropped.
Oh, wow.
A lot, substantially. They have absolutely dropped. So if you bought a vehicle within the past year and a half, 2 years ago, and you didn't put some monster money down, or you didn't have a paid off trade, or you didn't get the best interest rate that was absolutely available, more times than not, you hurting, and you're hurting bad. And I don't mean because what I'm seeing, even from well-qualified buyers, we've got people that are $15,000, $16,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 upside down. So,
wow.
And my belief in all of this is we're going to see the repo market go up like we've never seen it before, because those are now going to be real kitchen table conversations that people are going to now have to start having. And I'm not talking about the people who are sub 600. I'm talking about the people who are 710s and 750s are going to have to start thinking about having this conversation, because they're never going to be able to trade it.
So hold on, because you got my mind. It almost exploded when you said that. So people right now are coming in there almost paying, I can't even say house payments anymore because the housing market has went up, but pre-pandemic, people are paying pre-pandemic house payments for vehicles.
Yes. The thing is, that was mostly though for those, subpar folks, those folks who are, 620s and below, because then you had interest rate that could help you. Now with the interest rates not even there to, like I said, the banks aren't here to help you. The banks aren't helping you now. So think about it. If you are a 610, but you make the money, don't get me wrong, you make the money to afford it as far as in the bank size you do, so you make the money to afford it, but you're still getting a 12% rate on $60,000.
Ooh, that's mind blowing to me, because if I just round it off to 1,000, because I'm sorry, in my mind, when you say 880, 980, that's $1,000 to me. Like, I don't know. I grew up old school where I round up, I don't round down.
Right.
So you're saying $12,000 a year on a vehicle, and that's not including insurance and gas. But if we factor in insurance and gas, with the average pay, I know it's people in the 6-7s that make above the average pay, but the average pay being what, 38, 40,000, a 30-year paycheck on your car, and then the housing market has went up, so we're talking about even over a third of your pay going towards just living in a house, apartment, however you live, over 2/3 of your pay. So you're literally sitting there with less than a third to survive. It makes me question, because we're being real logical right. As possible. I don't want feelings involved. It makes me ask this question, because we're talking about people saying that I don't make enough money to survive. Is it even worth going out there to buy a car right now?
So the long answer to that is, yeah, no. It's really going to be based upon your situation. So what you're going to have to do, if you just have to have one, like I said, you're going to have to be more researched than ever. And what that's going to take is you're going to have to start looking in places that you normally wouldn't look for a vehicle per se, to find those hidden gems, to find those vehicles. Are you willing to take potentially a vehicle that has higher mileage just to get to the payment that you want? Are you willing to take a vehicle that's a little older than normal, than you would actually want to get the payment that you want? Are you willing to stretch out your term longer to put yourself in a better financial situation so you can handle it? Again, are you willing to bring more money to the table than you've ever brought? Those are the kind of things that you are really going to have to start asking yourself and really doing. Are you willing to go on Facebook Marketplace to see if old lady in your neighborhood is selling her car that's only got 60,000 miles, but it's a 2008 Pontiac Sunfire? Are you willing to do that route?
The reason I asked that question was because, like, back when, because I haven't bought a car in some years, because I'm one of those people, like, because don't get me wrong, I've bought many cars throughout my life. I bought the brand new, nobody's drove it, like fresh off the lot, and then when I got it off the lot and you love it, then 6 months later you're like, yeah, I still love it, but is it worth what I'm paying? But this is years ago. I'm talking about the early 2000s. Like, right. I could have went with something else because I love it, but every time something comes out new and you see something new and it's like, I gotta have it. Then I was like, I went another route and I'm like, got my next car. I'm like, I'm gonna get a little bit less, but then the family got bigger and it was like, okay, now I need something else. So we got what we need for the family car, and I'm sitting there like, okay, we're good. But I haven't done this in a while. But back then, you drove off a lot. It was kind of known like, my car's gonna automatically depreciate like $2,000, like $2,000-$3,000 gone. But you hinted at like almost feels what it feels like, because I'm trying to be logical. But the feeling I got was Now you drive it off the lot, it's thousands automatically because they got them priced this high. But as you said, the used car prices are tanked and down here. So it
Correct.
feels like that research shouldn't be started on the newer car. It should be started on the used car because financially speaking, if you're doing is financially smart, and then all the financial gurus from Dave Ramsey and all that, they're like, work your way up, buy the cash card, and move up to the 10,000 and 15.
Mhm.
It sounds like unless you just haven't got it like that, you should probably be starting at the used market.
So even with that, because of where we are, that's a yes and no. Because as a matter of fact, yes, so when I say the actual book value of pre-owns have dropped, they have, right? But because there still isn't enough new car inventory out, because most people during the pandemic kept their leases, people who lease their vehicles generally turn those back in every 2 to 3 years because that infusion did not happen. The prices of pre-owns are still, for the most part, high.
Oh, wow.
So you've got this weird kind of, witch's brew going on of the price of the vehicle, that pre-owned vehicle is high, but the book value on that vehicle is low, meaning that it's not worth probably what you're being charged for it, or nowhere near close to it. But because the demand for it is still high, because there just isn't enough new cars and the influx of these lease vehicles coming in, there's not enough to balance that off of. You're stuck. Now, am I gonna buy this new car that may be $40,000, or am I going to buy this 2020 Toyota Camry with 30,000 miles, but it's 38? At that point, 38 and 40, you're playing with the same money.
Now you raise a question that, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, we hear them all the time. But now I'm curious because you just said what you said about the lease cars, like during the pandemic, people weren't turning back in. So now it makes me wonder, what drove this demand? Did people not turning in their cars, and did people during the pandemic not purchasing as many cars because they didn't know what the future hold? Did this cause the big car industry to say we're going to make less cars because we're wasting money because people aren't buying, they're even keeping their leases, nobody's uncertain? Or did the big car industry say, you know what? Since we didn't get to sell that many cars and people were holding on their leases, how about we reduce how many cars we make and then raise the demand that way? Which one raised the demand that put us in the situation that we're in now, from your opinion and your colleagues?
Ooh, well, I think it was a combination. I think it honestly was just a perfect storm of a lot of different things. I think it was literally they caught lightning in a bottle and they ran the hell with it. They really did.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the pandemic. So when the pandemic happened, remember, yes, and it was only 2.5 years ago, everybody went home.
Yep.
Like we kind of forget this. Everybody went home. It wasn't just us. Everybody went home across the world. Like home, right? Just home. Ain't nobody doing nothing at all. Just they in their house. So these manufacturers, because let's just be honest, most of the vehicles that we see here in the States are foreign. They're foreign automakers. So in these plants, there's nobody working. So the production of new cars goes way down. Yes, people are only home for 4, 5, 6 months. Yep. But in that time, do you know how many cars are being produced at that time? There were 0 being produced. The only ones that were coming over were the ones that were already finished. So there were automakers. Good example would be Nissan. So Nissan, in a couple of their models, lost model years. What I mean is that, so Pathfinder went from 2020 to 2022.
Oh, wow.
Right. So if you ever find someone that says, oh, I'm driving a 2021 Pathfinder, no, you're not.
They're lying.
Yeah, you're lying. Stop it. Or as this generation say, that's cap. That's complete cap. They didn't build one. So I don't know how you're driving a 2021 Pathfinder. They went from 20 to 22. So stop the madness. So that's what kind of happened. And then as they slowly came back to, trying to get these numbers back up, what ended up happening was, okay, then there was a chip shortage. Y'all remember hearing about the chip shortage, right? So we had to stop making cars for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Everyone go home because we can't make the car. We don't have a chip. Well, what some other automakers did was they worked around not having the chip, but certain options or features in your car wouldn't work. Like, what is that? But you still want me to pay though full sticker and above, because remember, a lot of these dealerships added addendums and extra money on top of it because there just wasn't enough of them. So you want me to pay full sticker and above for a vehicle where all my junk don't even work? No. So again, they go back to work. Now there's a rubber shortage. What the hell? So stop working. Let's figure this out. No, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think some of this is just BS because they saw, wow, for the first time in a long time, the pendulum swung back towards big business, back towards the dealership, back towards where we can say, you're going to pay this price for my vehicle or you're not going to buy it all. And guess what they got to tell it to? They got to tell it to the bullets. They got to tell it to those well-qualified buyers. If you want this, you're going to pay $5, $10, $15, $20, $100,000 over sticker for it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think of that because I remember all that. I remember the chip. I remember the rubber. Hell, I remember last year when gas prices skyrocketed. It's like, I just want to walk. Based on what you're telling me about cars, I'm better off walking, catching the bus, calling the Uber. I ride with the person that's paying that car payment because these numbers are crazy. But I asked that because, like you said, like when somebody say if they come up to you, these kids, the younger generation, that's cap if you're driving a 2021. Mm-hmm. Well, there's also that younger generation and all that they saying we back outside, and now they outside. And with the way these car prices is, because I grew up watching it. And I never understood it, but we're entering that market. We back outside these prices, these cars, but we getting these tax dollars back now. So over the years, when you seen people get these tax refunds, because I used to see them on commercials driving down the street, bring your taxes over here and it'll be your down payment, and we'll get you in the car rolling, and your payment will be $450. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. But now, with basically what you're telling me with these percentages and what these payments are and what these down payments need to be to even get it in the right range, those people that say they back outside, how you think that's going to work with these tax returns? Or do car dealerships, because big banks ain't helping, do car dealerships even still do the bring your tax money here and we will get you into something? Is that still a thing, or should people even do it?
Absolutely. Of course. Wow. Heck, I've got an ad going up tomorrow about window tax refund to me. Yes, absolutely. We do it. Of course. We're supposed to. Duh. So that's just the salesperson in me. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm for real about that. So of course, right? So for those folks that are, again, who are accustomed to doing this every few years or whatnot, they're used to that $450, that $500 car payment, whatever it is, right? Again, I'm a realist when it comes to it, and I'm a logical seller. When I sell people cars, I make them think logically. You're not going to be, we're going to have fun. It's going to be exciting, but you're not going to buy off excitement. You're going to think this through. So what it is that I got to tell these folks who we back outside. Okay, how much outside you trying to be? All right, because the new $450 payment is $675. That's the new $450. Oh, you didn't know? You didn't know that the average new car payment is $760?
No,
that's the average new car payment. I don't care what you buying at this point, unless you're buying a Versa or something like. But we're talking about your average mid-size vehicle, your average mid-size SUV, your third rows, man, you might always say you're going to be paying $800 for it. Just period. That's just where it's at. Period. Like for real. So yeah, bring me that tax money. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do everything I can for it and do everything I can with it. But don't be expecting to get what you got back in 2018 when you did this. Those days are over, and they're gonna be over for a while.
So now let's get back logical again. For somebody that's thinking, I'm finna get my tax return back. I want to go get in another new vehicle. And you said you about to about to put your marketing out there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What should somebody be thinking in their mind? Say I'm coming in with a low 600s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a tax return. I want that new $60,000 Pathfinder. What should I be thinking my tax return should be to even help me lower my payments? What should I, because you know how you kind of know your tax number, return number before you come in. I'm gonna get 4,000, 5,000, 2,000. Like, what should that number be looking like to get that payment to be something? What would that payment even be?
So, man, and that's the thing. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. So let's just say you are trying to get your number, and God, I'm not even going to say you got a trade. Let's say you ain't got no trade. We don't even want to go there. So let's just say you're trying to get to about 650, right? All right, that's not horrible. Now remember, we're financing 60 grand. So what you need to hand me need to be anywhere between 10 to 15 of them, because I need to finance about 47 to 50.
Hold on.
Yeah.
People get tax returns for 10 to 15,000?
Sure. You got enough cheering. Why you think people be having cheering all the time? Huh?
Hold on. Let's go back. Before we even get to talking about the tax return to go buy a new car.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody is out there, and I'm not talking about, I get the child tax deduction, I get all that. If you're getting 10 to 15,000 back, we might need to start the conversation with learning how to not just manage your money, but do your taxes, how to do your 1099s, how to do your W-4s. We need to go back and do that lesson, because obviously you are one of those individuals, and I get it. Knowledge is power. Some things we have to be taught, and everybody doesn't know anything. We need to go back to first, we need to look at these exemptions you claiming and all that, because what you're doing is, if you're getting that much back, you're basically giving the government an interest-free loan on your money that you're working for. And they're not even giving 100% of it back to you. They're giving you a portion of it back.
Portion, tiny.
So if you're getting a tax return of 10 to 15,000, let's say you make, let's just for all fun and games, let's say you make 50,000 a year, and you're getting back a tax return 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Let's subtract that from your money. So basically, you made 40,000 a year after taxes. These are rough numbers. These are not accurate. Don't hold me to it. I'm just giving numbers so people can think of it logically. So that will say in your mind that I made 40,000 a year. The government taxes doesn't work like that. They didn't just take 10,000 from you. They might have took 15, 16, 17, but they're only giving you 10,000 back. So you basically gave them an interest-free loan, and they're keeping $6,000, $7,000 of your money. So before we even talk about tax returns, if this is you and you're that individual listening, I need you to go back and look at your claims. What are you claiming on your taxes? Go look how you set it up with your employer from the beginning. What taxes are coming out, whether state, federal, all that. Like, you need to look at that first, because man, I did not know people were coming in there with you, giving you 10 to 15,000. And if you're one of those people, you might need to go talk to Anthony on some financial stuff, or find a financial advisor. I don't care for what you're giving away. You might as well go spend the $2,000 with the financial advisor and get some lessons and get some information on what you need to do. Right. That's a whole nother show. But yeah, back to this. So people are bringing you 10 to 15,000. God forbid they're doing that. But with those individuals, they still would only have to get the car down to 47, giving away free money again.
Yeah, because if you do 60,000 divided by 72, which would be at 0%, you're still at 833.
That's at 0%.
That's at zero. That's you giving me no money, and you have perfect credit. And there was 0% for 72 months. That's 833.
Oh my goodness.
So we are, in essence, when it comes to car math, because in essence we need to go down about $200 in payment, actually a little less than that. So in essence, you're asking me to go down $10,000 because 10,000 goes to 100 at that point. So now I'm at 733. Well, I need to remember I said 650, So that's why I said, yeah, you got to bring me about 15 bands to do that.
I feel like I'm getting robbed and I'm not even buying a car right now.
No, it's just car math.
So tax return, I'm not even getting all my taxes back. And then when I buy the car, I got to pay taxes on the car.
Yep.
Then I'm getting charged this higher interest rate that was higher than before pre-COVID. And now, on top of all of that, I'm getting hit with my money 3 different ways, and I still have to pay a third of my paycheck for a car to survive.
Right. Oh, man, and by the way, anything that you do above 9,999, you got to report to the government.
No. So now we gotta ask the question. We have to ask the question. Because we're listening from your perspective. You're in the office, you and your colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, from me thinking, I don't think I want a car. I think I want a bicycle. Right. So if I come into your dealership, what do I get out of buying a car this day and age?
Well, and that's when it really comes down to the nitty gritty, it comes down between needs and wants. So questions you need to ask you, do I need this right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's a need, okay. So what in return am I getting from this vehicle? What in return am I getting from this transaction? What in return is this dealership giving me? And are they giving me, with these inflated prices and things of this nature, are they giving me a service plan? Am I getting free tire rotations? Am I getting free oil changes? Are they helping me with maintenance? Am I getting a warranty? Because we haven't even gotten to that. Am I getting those kind of things in return to justify me and giving me peace of mind to make this transaction?
I don't think I got that much peace of mind, because my mind is still over here. My mind is lost on a couple things. I'm still stuck on this $10,000 to $15,000 tax return. That's one. Mm-hmm. I'm still stuck on these interest rates. That's two. Because I remember back in the day when somebody said, "What's your interest rate on your car?" And they're like, "Oh, I got 6-7%." Everybody's like, "Clutches pearls." Like, no. But you're telling me now, like, the people with the 750, 800 are getting that, which I understand why they're mad. Like, I'm saying this and I'm asking these questions because we have to be realistic.
Right.
The average consumer isn't walking in there with an 800 credit score. The average consumer.
No.
And then it makes me think about that Lamborghini and their motto, like, you won't see commercials about our cars because the buyers that are buying our cars aren't sitting there watching commercials.
No.
It's starting to feel like that Nissan Pathfinder needs to say, we no longer make commercials because the people that are buying our cars. Because I'm thinking, and this is just me being logical about my family. Don't get me wrong, my family, we're not balling, we're not millionaires, but we're well above the average salary that a house should bring in.
Right.
And I'm thinking about our numbers over the average salary, and you tell me 750, 800. I'm old school. To me, 750, 800, that means I got 2 cars in the garage and a motorcycle. Hell, that's what I got. Right? And I'm not paying that much. And that's including almost my insurance. Part of that is my insurance. You tell me, if you told my family, me and my wife, that we're paying $800 a month for cars, that includes the cars and part of our insurance. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I want people to think about the outside invested thing, because this is what because you said repo, you see it being big coming up soon. this is what got us in the housing market issue, because people were just looking at the price of the house and my mortgage is going to be this. They didn't factor in property taxes. They didn't factor in insurance. They didn't factor in those little things, all that money set around for housing maintenance. If you're paying this much for a car, and Anthony said it better include a plan of some sort, because if it doesn't, then you have to factor in the side amount of money for if your car breaks down or if you have issues. The actual oil change that you do every $3,000 to $5,000. It's the little things like that. But if you're paying that much and you don't factor in the insurance, the rising and falling of gas prices, because you don't know, you're just thinking, okay, my car notes is $750. I can handle that. When in fact, when you factor in insurance and gas and the money you might want to set aside for emergencies, your car notes well over $1,000 something.
Exactly. See, and that's what I get people to do. I call it the overall cost of ownership, because that to me is the real money. Yes. Not because the car note itself is just a piece of that, and it may be the majority piece of it. But you also, just like you said, you have to factor in, okay, what is my maintenance on this? You want to know why people dump Mercedes and BMWs after about 40 to 50,000 miles? There's a reason for that, because the service plan is gone, and guess who buys them? Your buy here, pay here's, and then guess who goes and gets them? I got my taxes back, so we fist to go ball out, and I'm fist to go buy now this Mercedes that's got 50, 60,000 miles on it. By the way, they can't put a warranty on it. So now you're completely unprotected. And of course, because we don't know any better, or we don't know that to fix a Mercedes or the costs associated with repairs when it comes to those type of European foreign cars are astronomical. I mean, just to fix your tail light, the part itself is $500. Never mind, you actually need to get your transmission flushed. Never mind, you actually need to get, a real tune-up. Oh God, now we're talking $1,200, $1,300. That's on top of your car note.
So everybody knows I'm as transparent as it comes, because if I learn a life lesson, I like to share with others, because I don't want you to go through this. Like I remember growing up, my dad, my family, GM, because that was, I got them old school parents, uncles, grandparents. Something go wrong, we hop under the hood, laid out all on the floor. And so we didn't think nothing of it, but past our generations, because that's how we were raised, because that was the cost of living then. Now, my wife and I doing a little better, you know what I'm saying? Not saying we're doing better than our parents, but like because of the generation we're in, we're doing a little better. And my wife, babe, have whatever you want. She wanted the BMW, found a BMW. Hey, got it. And I'm saying that because you said they're foreign cars and it's like over 40, 50, 60,000 miles. So wife had a BMW. And I want you to understand, like, the car was in great shape, but it's man-made. I don't care what you do in life. Everything's man-made, machine-made. Anything can break. And so something happened. We had to take the car into the dealership. Like I said, it was running everything, but then they found little things and it's like, hey, let's just go ahead and fix it and be done with it. I've seen these on TikToks as well. And these are people in plans. Even with the plans and the backup and all the help and all that, that bill still came to about $4,000 some dollars. That's with the help. Can you imagine what it would be without help?
Exactly.
I want people to take
people dump them. That's exactly why people dump those Euros at about 40 to 50,000 miles. They dump them. And then regular dealerships, Nissans, Toyotas, Hondas dealerships, Ford, Jeep, they go buy these cars at auctions, put them out on their lots, all right, cool. Oh, you see this Mercedes? I want it, and don't even understand the complete total cost of ownership. But here you are, and I'm not knocking anyone who works at Walmart, Waffle House, or anything like that, but here you are not understanding what you have in this vehicle. Holy crap, my payment's already $750 because it's a Mercedes and I need to feel like I'm balling.
Yep.
I have to get my oil changed. They're not paying for those. And, Euro cars use a different type of synthetic oil. So now my oil change, which, American made, about $40-$50. Not on those. No.
Ooh, no. You need to put $100 something, $200 something. Like, yeah.
Exactly. If you're getting it done right. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's like Jiffy Lube.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You can take Jim Blue, let them do it, $89 and watch how much longer your car gonna run. Not too much longer. No. Actually get it serviced properly. Now we're talking $300-400 on top of that 780. And then let's just say they find something wrong and they got to woo, woo.
I'm glad you said that though, because like you said, the Jeep and all that, and they go by it. I'm glad you said that, because that's something I was even guilty of that. Like when you go to those used car dealerships, sometimes even those mom and pop places, because I get it, they got a business to run. But when you walk onto that dealership and you see that used car, it's there for a reason. Not necessarily saying it's a clunker and it's going to break down on you, but it's there for a reason. Somebody used it up, got high mileage. Like I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost inclined to agree with you, Anthony, when they're saying, like, right now, based off the numbers you're telling me, I'm better off finding that little old lady, little old man, or that person whose family member passed away and they're selling their stuff, but they took care of their vehicles pristine shape. I'm more inclined right now, based off the percentages you're giving me. The bank's not helping me. The car dealership can only do so much. My taxes and everything being taken by the government. Like, I'm more inclined to go spend my money with them because I know they've taken care of it. They've got their logs and everything to actually go to a dealership, whether it's new or used. So I'm saying this because people out there about to get these tax returns. And as Anthony said, research.
Right. And now I'm also someone who I'm a Virgo. So I play devil's advocate with everything. So fine. Let's just say you want to go and do that with the mom and pops. Well, not mom and pops, but you go buy it off the, the internet, old lady and all this stuff. Very cool. Understand this, that they have taken great care of it. They have, doesn't have that many miles on it and all that wonderful jazz. Right. But remember, it is man-made. So understand this. You do not have a warranty unless you are now going to go out and buy an aftermarket warranty. Now that can be some of the biggest ripoff and scam on earth. So
the bumper.
Right. Even if you go and do that, you have to understand. That's why I say you can't just surface research. No. You've got to think about this from every angle possible and figure out what is the best situation for you. Me personally, would I go and do that? Depending upon the vehicle and depending on what I'm using it for. If it's just going to be a little slider, as we call them down here, if it's just going to be a little slider, a little scooter boot, cool. Hey, I'm cool with that. If it break, heck, I only spent $6,000 on it. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
But if I know I'm going to be doing some real deal hard-earned driving with this is what's going to be taking my family to church. This is what's going to be taking our family on vacations. This is what I'm going to be using for work. This is what I'm going to be working out of. I'm actually going to put on my big boy draws and I'm going to have to swallow a payment because I understand what's going to come with it. Because if I go to someone that is reputable, and when I say reputable, I mean a dealership, because a lot of these mom and pops are buy here, pay here's. And again, some of them are some of the biggest scammers you've ever seen, ever. Truly. I'm going to take my chances with a dealership because one, they have to stand by their product. They have to. Two, more than likely, it's going to have a warranty on it of some type. Three, if I go brand new, I know for a fact that I'm going to get the best rate on that money, period, because new cars are always going to have the best rate on them, and it's going to have a brand new warranty. So no real problem should happen. If it does, my warranty is going to cover it. And on top of that, four, if I go brand new, I'm covered under some sort of lemon law because every state has one. Pre-owned, I'm still doing the same thing. One, that company has to stand by that vehicle. Two, most of the vehicles pre-owns that you see on a dealership's lot are certified. Now, I say dealership. I'm talking a real dealership, not Uncle Rico's used car importer. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, this is Nissan of Orange Park or what have you. This is Toyota, Vados to Toyota or something. No, they have to put a warranty on. So they have to certify those vehicles. So again, warranty. Two, I can probably then get it serviced locally where I am. You know, to me, that's important. And something else to kind of help you guys, if you just have to buy a pre-owned as close to the new model year as possible, because the rate is going to be more favorable to that. And in some cases, it may treat it like a new car because it's so close to the model year. So instead of if you buy a 2020, you may get 9%. Well, if you buy the 2022, you may get 7%. Well, that's a big deal over the long term of the loan.
Yep. Man. So now because I promise you, my mind is still blown off all the stuff you're saying. But I want you, because I'm one of those people as well. Talk to me, talk to all of us. Because you already know I got to ask this question to everybody when we get towards the end of the show. Talk to all of us. From Anthony McCrary, the McCrary Experience. For those of us out there that just are, one, we either need a new car. Two, I feel like I'm working hard for my money. I deserve to enjoy some of it, and I can afford to pay a little bit for this. Or three, hey, I just want a new car. For us people like that out there, give us that bottom line advice. We know you told us research, but that bottom line advice, what we need to know before we come into that dealership.
Is be open and flexible.
Okay.
Be open and flexible, but two, know what it is that you want. And what I mean by knowing what it is that you want, because inventory for the most part, depending on where you are in the country, is limited. Where I am, I've only got so much stuff. So understanding that, hey, I want a Pathfinder. Cool. I got 3. I don't like none of them. Well, that's a conversation for me. I can't help you. No, I'm kidding. But no, be open. Be open to different possibilities. Be willing to be a little creative with me, and understand that you may have to sacrifice a want for a need.
Okay.
What can you live without? What can you live without? And be as honest as you can. And I'm not talking about me as salesperson. Let me be as honest. No, you as customer needs to be as honest as you can, because the more information that you give us, the better we are able then to serve you fully. Because if you leave stuff out and then by the time I get the numbers, oh, I want to throw in this trade. Well, now you've probably completely destroyed the whole thing, and we got to start back at ground zero. Don't want to be with that. I don't want to do that because we've already spent 2-3 hours together.
Man.
And you knew you wanted to trade to begin with.
It's crazy because basically everything that you just said, that knowledge you just gave us about being open, being flexible, your needs versus your wants. I want people to listen to this closely because some people have never had this experience. Basically, buying a car now is the exact same as buying a house. Because when you go look at a house, they say, be open, be flexible. What do you actually need versus what you want? Do you need to have this size or do you want this option? It sounds like you're buying a house again. So that's where we're at, because let's be honest, we've already covered the prices, the interest. Cars now priced at almost a third of your income. For the average family, a third of your income. And Mr. McCrary, Anthony, you laid it out there. So before we even go, because in case somebody missed it, and they might have their own questions, I might not have touched the questions that popped in their head. If I didn't, leave it in the comments, and we can get with Anthony to figure out those answers. But if they aren't able to get in the comments or don't feel comfortable leaving them in the comments, how can somebody, again, get in touch with you?
You can find me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at the McCrary Experience. Yes, I do answer. It is me. I don't have an assistant or some other robot and all that. No, that's all me. You can also find me on of course, my podcast, Behind the Experience, the Car Show. And you can also find me at the McCraryExperience.com. You can find me there too. So, man, I'm all over.
Man, I said it last time, and I got to say it again. I appreciate you for dropping this knowledge. You got my mind blown. I'm thinking about so much stuff. Like I know I ain't getting a new car no time soon, but you got me thinking about so much stuff, and you gave us so much more knowledge. I'm definitely gonna have you come back on. You was on 37, now you're on at 52. So that's what 15 episodes. Might have to get you on again. It's 67. Go find out what happened because I'm curious to know what happens when these income tax checks roll in, and especially if they're bringing you 10, 15,000. But again, we appreciate you for coming on and talking to us. I say coming in. I know I'm not coming in because I know you're in Valdosta, Georgia, and with what you just told me about prices of cars, it's gonna take me a long time to get there on my bike because I'm not going nowhere. Thank you. We will make sure everybody please tune in to Anthony's show as well. But as always, thank you for taking this time to come on, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Again, I'm somebody that believes that, when it comes to somebody's gift and their thing, you always have to represent because, again, that's how you're blessed. So definitely, I appreciate it.
Man, thank you for that. And hey, that's how you're going to be blessed. That's how we all going to be blessed. And we wish nothing but blessings to you, especially as you got to continue to sell them cars. Again, brother, thank you for coming on, Anthony. Appreciate you. And I'll see you on the other side.
Yes, sir.
Man, I hope y'all learned something because I definitely did. For one, we need to research before you just think about buying a car. Two, if we talked about these taxes and that's your tax return, understand the child deductions, we might need to start talking about finances. Bring somebody else on to talk about how to get these finances because now I have financial questions that I need to ask a financial advisor, and I don't want to just ask it for myself. I want you to learn it as well as I do. So now gonna have to go find another financial advisor to bring on to teach us these things so we can make sure that we're filling out our 1099s and W-4s out correctly, especially with all the new entrepreneurs that we are making off of this show alone as y'all continue to tune in. But on top of that, after learning what I'm learning about cars, I think we need to find out how to bring a mechanic onto this podcast because with the way it costs to fix cars, it might not be a bad thing to find out who that entrepreneur is that can teach us how to get certified as a mechanic. I'm learning so much. I hope you're learning so much. I'm loving meeting all these great individuals that's living in their purpose, living according to what their gifts is and doing the things they love to do. But I want you to continue to do that as well. If you don't know what that is, continue to tune in with us every Thursday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, as we continue to bring people on that will hopefully connect with you and what your purpose is. But until then, I still want you to always continue to live in your purpose, with purpose, on purpose. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next week.